If you're watching this, you're probably PCSing or relocating to Mountain Home, Idaho and trying to figure out where to live in Mountain Home, Idaho. Well, stay tuned because we're gonna be talking about exactly that in this video, so stick around. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm excited to talk about this, and I'm always excited to talk about Mountain Home because Mountain Home has a special place in my heart. It became home for me personally back in April of 2017 when I PCSed here on military orders. I was active duty Air Force. I was ground transportation, so we used to drive all the vehicles and take all the parts out, and I was a glorified bus driver is basically what we used to call each other. However, it was a great time, and honestly over the years it had really grown over me, especially coming from, maybe you're coming from a big city, or maybe you're coming from a town where there's more than 20,000 people and you just don't know exactly what to expect. I'll make sure to talk about that for you guys as well. So let's talk about it. So Mountain Home, Idaho is located about 45 minutes away from Boise. So if you're not familiar with Idaho, Boise is the capital city and the most populated city in the entire state of Idaho. It's where people go spend their time during the weekends. It's where people go out to club and drink and have a good time, or just go out to the movies and go eat good food. Whatever you can imagine, you can potentially do in Boise outside of going to the beach. There's no beaches in Idaho. There's a ton of different plots of water and things of that nature. However, you can still go and cool down during the hot summer days, which leads us to our next point. Idaho does have 4-season weather. So if you guys are unaware of that, go ahead and plan for cold winters, snow, things of that nature, and also very hot summers. You're gonna have triple-digit heat. It's not as humid out here, so it's not terrible. However, I do wanna make sure I set that expectation that you do get a little bit of everything weather-wise in Idaho. So with all of that we've provided so far information-wise, now you need to base a decision as far as what is best living-wise for you. So ultimately, you're already heading here, you're already PCSing here, you're already having a plan where to live, and now it's a matter of what makes the most sense for you and your family, or whatever your current situation is. The good news is Mountain Home is pretty small, so there's not too many places. You can't really be too picky. However, you can get a good gauge as far as what you are looking for in a home, for example. So Mountain Home doesn't have any condos or anything of that nature, at least to my knowledge, that is currently active, but you do have townhomes, you do have single families, you do have duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, and things of that nature. So overall, you do have a pretty good selection, but in total, there's only 96 active listings. Last week we did another video, there was 99 active listings at the time. So with what you have in front of you as far as selection wise, it's a matter of the area. I think the most important thing that you can make decision wise when you're picking a home to live in Mountain Home, if you're purchasing or renting, it's going to be the area that you decide to live in. One, because you can always change the house, but you can never change the spot, right? You can never change where you move your house and things of that nature. Unless you have the funds to move an entire house and you plan on doing that, then do as you please. But for those of you that are within the norm that do not want to move a house, then basically you're gonna have to pick the right spot. Now, these 3 neighborhoods that I'm gonna talk about today that a lot of people tend to love or fall in love with are going to be Silverstone, Morning View, and the houses around Legacy Park. Now, I say houses around Legacy Park because there's a couple of neighborhoods within that, however, or subdivisions, I should say. But however, we do want to make sure that we're just kind of making sure you guys know the general idea of where people want to live. So to kick it off, Silverstone is going to be the #1 area that a lot of clients have decided to pick up and move. And the reason for that is it's one of the newest subdivisions that have no HOA. So that is a huge, huge plus for those of you that are like, I just can't listen to the rules. I just want to leave work and I don't want to listen to anyone tell me what I can and can't do with my house. Good news is Silverstone may be the best neighborhood for you because not only are they modern if you're looking for that, but you also have no Karens or anything of that nature. Now, you may see a bright pink house, but remember, that's what you signed up for. All jokes aside, however, overall, Silverstone is a very beautiful neighborhood. They all do have their own unique touches. You'll see some of them have similar blueprints. They were built by Hubble Homes, which allows you to pick the blueprint or at least pick the home design and home plan. And from there, you were able to customize things such as flooring, the blinds, the windows, the different things within the home that matter most to you or whoever purchased the home at the time. So you always find that each home has a different touch to it within the selection that they were available to pick upon. So now that you have an idea of what Silverstone is, as far as location-wise, it's located kind of in the back of the town where it's not necessarily out of the way, but you do have to travel a little bit. It is about 20 minutes away from base. It's about 50 minutes away from Boise. So it is a little bit on the further end from Boise at least, but a little closer to base compared to the other sides of town that you could live on. However, overall, the neighborhood is very beautiful, it's very quiet. Some of my clients that move there who are also military, they tend to tell me that it's just their favorite neighborhood because they feel like they get away from work. They still see a lot of the military members or military coworkers there. So it's almost like family away from work that they get to go and see on a regular basis, whether it's walking their dogs or having a neighborhood party or just going all out. And they do it big in Silverstone. So if you're someone that loves the holidays, to decorate, to do trick-or-treating and things of that nature, then you're definitely gonna love Silverstone because they do go all out in that neighborhood as well. So without talking about it that much more, let's let you guys check out what Silverstone looks like. So that's a little bit of what Silverstone looks like. So the next neighborhood we're going to talk about, since we're talking about the 3 neighborhoods, is going to be Morning View. Now it's literally across the street from Silverstone. However, this one does have an HOA. These are the newest builds. They do have 2 neighborhoods. They're being built by Corey Barton Homes, AKA CBH Homes. And I will say, most people love the homes because it's the best bang for the buck. However, they do have an HOA and a lot of people are not friendly or fond of the HOA there. So there's a lot of complaints in that capacity as far as just them being picky sometimes or just not upholding the standards. It's hit or miss. So you HOA problems, if you're willing to deal with them or if you're willing to sustain your house value because you know the HOA is going to call things out. There are rumors that they're trying to dissolve the HOA, but overall right now that is the current situation with the Morning View homes. However, if those of you who are looking for an amazing home in a neighborhood that is going to maintain its equity, because there are HOAs, there are people being told what to do as far as keeping the grass cut and making sure that they repair things that need to be repaired and things of that nature. It is overall an amazing neighborhood and people really do love it once they get past all the BS of an HOA. Now, not only is that neighborhood growing and have some amazing properties, they also just upped the modern texture as far as the architecture of the exterior and how they're building the home. So it just looks really cool for those of you that are really looking for those modern homes with that touch that make it look that much nicer. So I'm gonna let you guys check out the Morning View subdivision. All right guys, so like I said, Morning View is definitely a beautiful area and they are continuing to build and expand and they're going to continue to build until they can't build anymore. That is the same location as Silverstone, so I'm not going to dive too much into that, but that is also a pretty good neighborhood for those of you that are into the decorating side of things for holidays and things of that nature. They pretty much reciprocate what Silverstone does, they just have a little more rules behind it, if that makes sense. So finally you have Legacy Park. Now Legacy Park, I'm extremely biased, but most of my clients genuinely love Legacy Park because it's also no HOA. However, houses are a little older in the neighborhood depending on what part of Legacy Park you live on. So you may see some houses that are built around the early 2000s, and then you may see some houses that are built in the later 2000s, where it's 2017, 2018, or even now they have that new CBH development, which is a little further from Legacy Park, but it's still in the surrounding area. I still count it personally, but they are a little further out from Legacy Park than some people may hope for. So they are continuing to grow around there, but most of it is already built out, so you're not gonna see too much. Now, the reason why people love Legacy Park each home is very different. It's very unique. You're not gonna get cookie cutter homes or anything of that nature. They've been there for a little bit, and you have this huge, outstanding, beautiful park where they play all the sports, they play all the games, they have a lot of events and things of that nature, because Legacy Park is just known for being the best park in town outside of its competition, which isn't really competition, which is Carl Miller Park, but that's just more so because of where it's located, being in the center of town. Now, I know I said I was biased, but it's also because it's where I purchased my personal home, and I can tell you that I absolutely loved it, and I enjoyed every second of living in Legacy Park because it just was nicer homes with just different looks, and just, you know what, I'm just gonna let you guys look at it. Check out some of these Legacy Park homes. All right, like I said, Legacy Park, absolutely beautiful, absolutely stunning. Some of the homes, just a lot of different variations, some older, some nicer, and you also have just a ton. Now, I will throw in one bonus neighborhood. Now, this is for those of you that are maybe looking for something on the higher end luxury-wise, who are willing to spend a little more bang for your buck and get half-acre lots, or even bigger, potentially, depending on what you're looking for, which is gonna be this Purple Sage homes. Now, Purple Sage is absolutely stunning. Those homes are the high-end homes in Mountain Home, Idaho, and they just speak for themselves. So I'm not even gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna let you guys check them out. All right, guys, so those are some of the neighborhoods. Now, I didn't talk about a lot of different areas within Mountain Home because there's not too many to pick from. Now, depending on what you're willing to spend and if it makes sense, if you're looking to purchase a home, I am a licensed real estate agent here in the state of Idaho, and I would absolutely love to help you guys as much as I love making these videos for you guys. So you'll see my cell phone number and my email popping up on the screen. Call me, text me, whatever you need to do to get a hold of me. Please, please, please do not hesitate. No matter what the time, if I can't answer, I always will get back to you guys. So please feel free to reach out. And with that being said, if you haven't already, make sure you guys press the subscribe button, leave a comment where you're tuning in from, and also turn on the bell at the top of the screen so you can get notified when we make more amazing videos just like this. As always, guys, if you have any other questions that I didn't get it covered in this video, maybe check out some of our other videos, or just reach out to me personally so I can answer any private or just questions that you're curious about that you don't want to leave in the comments. So as always, love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one.